believe we got Zirene back on the line here. Let's transfer over and talk to the legend himself. Zirene, hey, congratulations on that run. That was a stellar time that y'all put up. You've got to be happy.
All right, you can hear me now, right? I got permission in the channel. Kind of helps.
Yes, we got you now.
Right, got you now. Perfect. Yeah, it was a really good run. Honestly, everything went kind of according to plan. Envision died very early on. That's part of the scripted part of our runs. Like, it's the kind of a good luck charm. If he dies in Spider Wing, we know it's going to be a good run. So the deal was sealed at that point.
Yeah, I got to say, it was unfortunate to see that mage loss early on, but y'all certainly did persevere through that, and it didn't seem to stall you out too much. Were there any other identifying kind of instances of problems? Any other problems that you identified early on in your run? Because from our perspective, things look to be pretty good.
Yeah, we lost a few people. It wasn't like a massive deal, and we did lose a little bit of time on some pats. Somebody pulled gargoyles, and we had to clear an extra pack, as Rain does. I mean, our last speed run that was #1 in US, we had 2 extra packs in there that weren't required. So we're kind of masters of picking up stuff we don't need to. And actually losing the mage isn't as big as you would think, because we only brought 1 warlock, so there's no curse of elements. We actually eliminated a warlock and a mage to bring 2 more warriors, so we're only running 4 mages, 1 warlock. And so our caster damage is a little bit lower, but we're still able to, make them focus on decursing. And so if he's like picking up decurses on Saffron and Noth, it's not as big of a loss as you would think it is, unless we lost like a warrior or something. So yeah, from there though, the only thing I'd want to do is I want to change our 4 horseman strat. I want to swap our position of Zeliek and Blamo, but we didn't have enough time because PTR was down. So wasn't able to quite implement that, but that's kind of the one thing that I want to do going into next week.
Yeah. So you mentioned the PTR, right? So I'm kind of curious. This is like everyone says they go on the PTR and whatnot. Have you ever done a run on the PTR that's been like so unbelievable that you wish it was on live?
So our most recent PTR run was 54 minutes, which was better than our last one. And we were kind of going like, oh, we wish that was that one. And then we did this one, and everybody I don't know what it is about Rain. Like, we're going to suck a ton on PTR. We're going to delete 10 characters and be like, hey, we ain't got any more. We got to copy more. And we're just going to mess up polls over and over again. But then something happens the day of the speed run where everything just kind of clicks in for everyone. And we have not had a single PTR that has ever been better than the live run we do that week. So that's a good thing. It means we don't screw it up on live, but for some reason, people just take it way more seriously on live. The adrenaline kicks in and everybody's kind of in a flow state, everybody's kind of zoomed in on that.
Yeah, you guys had pretty much a steady flow throughout the whole raid, a really incredible pacing. There's a couple times where pathing wasn't your friend, specifically, I want to say in the military wing after you went with Lotheb. How did you guys kind of make that call to deal with those double packs with the pat all the way in the back?
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's where we lost, I think, 2 people. I think we lost to Brown there. We lost Bozic. And that was probably the biggest loss of the run, I think. And it's something where, waiting for it versus losing some people, as long as you're only able to take minimal losses there at that point, it's kind of on Maltese. He's the one calling the shots. Maltese and Thade, the main tank and the GM, they make most of the calls there, and nobody questions it in the moment of whether we should go or not. And if Maltese messes up and makes a bad call, we all get to blame him afterwards. But as long as we all trust him in the moment that he knows what he's talking about, he's going to lead us to a good time.
Zirene, before we send you off to enjoy your evening and kind of relish in this, at least week 1 victory, I want to ask you, moving forward, we've talked to the other guilds and what they're going to be doing this week to try to shore some things up or make sure they're all on the same page for next week, the second run. What is Rain going to be doing? What are you guys going to be focusing on?
We're going to be focusing on making sure that we are implementing things that are riskier and riskier. We've been kind of a guild where our strength is dragging packs into each other. Pacing is a really big thing for us. We don't sit and hit mobs. We drag and frag them. We make sure that they're getting pulled all the way up the ramp. So that's one of our strengths, and we need to shore up the things like not ass pulling stuff. We want to make sure that we're focused on not losing people and playing a little more defensively. I think the very first pack of the instance, the one that we do with the plague wing, right? That was really messy at first, and then the people who are tanking mobs, they really had to play a lot more defensively. So having Fury Warriors learn to play defensively in those moments and kind of pick things up, I think, big shout out to a lot of the Warriors that have to do that and be like 5th, 6th tank. It's not fun to throw on a shield. It's not fun to use a stone shield, but those guys are doing it, and I really appreciate that. So everybody needs to get on board with that. And we saw a few times where somebody's creeping up on aggro, right? It even happened on Thaddeus. People kind of need to watch that. Fade is a very vocal tank. He's going to say when he gets parries, he's going to say when threat is good or how many crits he gets right off the get-go. So if you're not listening or paying attention to your threat meter, I don't know what to say, but the Warriors really need to work on that. But other than that, I think it's kind of just tightening everything up, trying a few more strategies. We're not going to do what Noobs is doing when they did the big Chinese pull where they pulled it all into the Noobercon room. That is just, I don't even want to try that. That is way too much effort for what I think is like a little return when we have a lot of other areas that we can kind of tighten up before we try something like that.
Sure. Well, congratulations again, Zirene, to you and the members of Reign on a very stellar speedrun. We look forward to watching your second attempt next week.
Yep. Dogs on 3.